Does the idea of gathering together at your home for a holiday meal stress you out? Well, you're in luck because today we're going to talk about how to organize your holiday meal here on Get Organized with Jodi. Hi, I'm Jodi Granok, a certified professional organizer with over 15 years in the field. And I love the holiday season, but I also know that getting ready for people to come over for a holiday meal can be kind of an ordeal if you're not prepared. So this video is designed to help you get organized for your holiday meal so that you can actually enjoy the meal with family and friends and not be as worried or stressed about it. So let's talk about the things that we can do to plan and prepare for having people over for a holiday meal so that you can actually enjoy time with family and friends. So the first thing we want to think about is ways that we can simplify the meal itself. One of the things that you can consider is what type of dishes that you're using. Now, I know back in the day, it was the thing to use very special plates, very fancy china, perhaps, that you would only bring out for the holidays. And the problem with that is that a lot of these things have to be washed by hand. And if you do that, then you either are creating a lot of work for yourself late into the evening, or you're spending time in the kitchen hand washing the dishes while your company is still there, and it kind of takes you out of the action. So one of the things that you can consider doing for your holidays, if you haven't done this before, is actually switching to regular dishes that could still be colorful and festive, but are safe enough to go in the dishwasher because, loading up the dishwasher and letting it run while your company is still there gives you more time to be with your family and your friends. Now, if you don't even like to do the dishes that way, you can also consider simplifying the meal by using disposable plates. And disposable plates don't have to be just boring white paper plates anymore. There are all kinds of colors and designs, different shapes to the plates and different weights to them. So they can look pretty fancy and still be paper plates that are disposable. So that can save you a lot of time and energy in the kitchen. So another way to simplify the meal is to cut back on how much of the meal that you're making yourself. So if you're not a fan of cooking everything for the holiday meal, you can consider getting it catered or semi-catered. Semi-catered meaning you choose the things that you like to make, and the things that you don't like to make, you can get them from your favorite restaurant or store. A lot of grocery stores now specialize in making a lot of these holiday entrees and sides. So in our house, the last few years, we have gotten the turkey or the ham from a store and just concentrated on cooking the side dishes. Other people may go the other way. They might love to roast the turkey or baste the ham, but they don't like making green bean casserole. So you can outsource that to your favorite grocery store. Another way that you can simplify cooking for your holiday meal is to share the load. You can ask some of your guests to bring some of the food items for your dinner. Now, if you're going to do that for a holiday meal, you really want to get specific. I wouldn't ask people, for example, to bring a side dish or even to bring a dessert, because what if they all bring green bean casserole, or what if they all bring pumpkin pie? Then you wouldn't have the diversity of food items that you want. So you can ask one person to bring one kind of dish and another person to bring a different kind of dish. Now, if you don't want to ask your guests to bring an entire dish, and your guests may want to pitch in and bring something, you could always ask them to bring some of the soda or bottles of water, maybe some of the wine or other types of alcohol. You can ask them to bring fruit. You can ask them to bring ice. You can ask them to bring flowers for the table. So there are ways to let people help you if they want to help you, and you can decide to what degree. One of my favorite things to do to get ready for the holidays is to actually have all of my recipes together in one place, because that can be very stressful trying to locate all the recipes for your holiday meals. So I'm a big fan of making recipe binders. So you take a regular type of binder like you see here in the picture, and I get a little creative by using tab dividers. So these tab dividers could be used in different ways. You could use them for the types of food, like side dishes versus main course versus dessert. Or you can use the tab dividers for the different holidays and say, here's all my Thanksgiving recipes, and here's all my Easter recipes, and here's all my Christmas recipes or Hanukkah recipes. My suggestion is, no matter which way you go with the dividers, that within the recipe binder that you use sheet protectors, which are those plastic pieces that you slide paper into. If you use a sheet protector, you're going to keep your recipe clean, and that is important, because if you cook like I do, I tend to make a mess, and I can spill liquid on my recipe or sprinkle flour all over my recipe and make a real big mess. So sheet protectors are great because you could just wipe them off very easily, and you don't run into the problem that I had several years ago where my husband had smudged his pie crust recipe, and he mistakenly put a tablespoon of salt into his pie crust when it was supposed to be a teaspoon. And you can imagine how the pies that year turned out. Sheet protectors are also great because it makes everything the same size. So if you had a recipe that was jotted down on a smaller piece of paper, or maybe an index card, or maybe the recipe was taken out of a magazine, by putting it in the sheet protector, it's all the same size, right? The sheet protectors are all the size of a full sheet of paper. So it's a nice way to keep smaller pieces of paper and recipes safe as well. This is my father's recipe for stuffing. I know some people call it dressing, some people call it stuffing, but I wanted to show you what a recipe looks like in a sheet protector. And what I've done for the holidays now, especially in the era of COVID, when you never know how big or small your gatherings are going to be, I hate to do math on the fly when I'm cooking. So I've actually created 2 different versions of all of my recipes for the holidays. So I call one full and I call one half. So I know if it's a smaller gathering, I will do the half recipe. And if it's a larger gathering, I do the full recipe. So that's another option for the holidays as well. All right. When you are getting ready to go shopping for all of your holiday needs, check the recipes and check all of the ingredients, and then see what you have in your house. But when you are creating your grocery list, you don't have to buy things if you already have them in the house. For example, if you know you have enough poultry seasoning, you don't have to put it on the grocery list. But remember that amounts are critical. So if you need eggs or butter or milk in several different recipes, make sure you have enough eggs, milk, or butter for all the recipes that use it. So you still may have to go buy some additional eggs, even if you had eggs at home. Don't forget, when you're making your grocery list, that there are other things that you might want as well. You may want garnishes, like if you like to put lettuce around a platter or have radishes or other decorative items, right? You may need to buy some additional serving pieces or platters. You may need to buy additional baking dishes or pans. You may want to add some more food storage containers, especially if you're going to be giving people items to take home as leftovers. You may want to get some of the cheaper food storage containers that you don't need them to come back. You can just give them to your guests and say, you can keep this container, I don't need it. You also want to make sure that you have plastic wrap, aluminum foil, Ziploc bags, whatever things that you would use to wrap up your leftovers for yourself. All those things should be added to your grocery list if you don't have an adequate supply already at home. So the next thing I like to do to simplify the meal and avoid some stress is to make a timeline for the actual day of the holiday meal. And so I find it's really helpful to write it out, working backwards from the time that you want to have dinner. So think backwards and figure out what time different things need to go in the oven and how long they need to set up afterwards, right? Or making sure you have time to carve the meat. All those different things that you need to do, not just the meal, but things like cleaning up the rest of the house, getting the bathroom ready, maybe putting out candles or putting out guest towels or vacuuming. And when you have this timeline, you can now delegate items to family members and you can ask them to help you get the bathroom ready or vacuum the living room or help you put things in the oven or take things out of the oven. Whatever you need help with, share the load. That will take off some of the stress. Another thing that I highly recommend, based on experience, is to write out your entire holiday menu. Even though we all know what we're having for dinner, I can tell you multiple times over the years, my family forgot to put something on the table for the holidays. And sometimes we left a vegetable in the microwave after we'd already heated it up. Sometimes we forgot to take something out of the refrigerator or the pantry. So by having every single thing written out, it really helps make sure that you've taken everything out and gotten it onto the dinner table. The most important thing that I can tell you when you're trying to enjoy the holiday meal after all these tips I've given you is just give yourself permission to let perfection go. You know, we're not being judged on this. We're there to gather with our family and friends, and we want to be able to relax and enjoy this meal and be able to share memories with each other and create new memories and just have a really good time. So give yourself a break. If you've done all of this planning and preparation, now when the time comes, it's time to really enjoy yourself, and bon appetit. I encourage you to visit organizingmagic.com for more organizing resources, including our free e-newsletter and information on our monthly Zoom webinars. And remember that new videos drop every Friday. So be in the know and click like and subscribe before you go so you never miss a single video. I'll see you next time.